Bodine52, how are you folks? Hope you are well. I am out and about today in some beautiful scenery here in southeast Michigan on Big Mama, my 2018 Ultra Limited. And I am going to drive by, or ride by, I should say, one of my favorite little, I don't know if it's a park. Yeah, I guess it's a park. It's called the Pinckney Recreational area. So I guess that's not really a park now, is it? If it's a recreational area. What's the difference, by the way? Does anybody know that? I don't know. Stay tuned. Let's go through it. As many of you know that follow my channel, I've been back in Michigan for a month or two by the time you've seen this video. And I've been exploring some of the roads that I rode a couple years back before I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this is one of them, and I remember this one, what I thought was a park, but I guess it's not. So we'll see. You can decide. But this is one of the roads I really like to ride on, and I thought I would ride back here and check it out and see what you thought, because I know when I was in Pennsylvania, I did a lot of vlogging, stopped by a place called Moraine State Park a couple times. I'll leave a link to that description if you would like to see that, but wanted to come back and check out this park. Wanted to make sure I remember where it was at, and wanted to ride this road. So I know there was some cool lake around it. You could take your boat out on it, and so this place right here to the right, by the way, it says trail crossing. I'm not gonna pull up there, but Mrs. Bodine and I have been up there, and we decided to go for a hike. Now, Mrs. Bodine doesn't like necessarily hiking because of snakes. That's pretty much it, right? And it's beautiful back there. So we went through, after about a month or two, I convinced her to go hiking with me back there. Going, there's no snakes, don't worry about it, blah, 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 blah. I had her convinced. It took me a while too, right? So what happens? Of course, we go out there. We hadn't walked, I don't know, half a mile. Snake runs right across them. So what does Mrs. Bodine say? Ah! Shoot it! Get your gun out and shoot it! I can't do that. I can't shoot it in the middle of a park. So we haven't been back, by the way. But I'm now that I'm back in Michigan, I am so going to do that. All right. It looks like, and every time I've come back here, they've never been a guard, because you do have to have some passes in some of the places in for the metro parks. But I came through here a bunch. It's interesting. It's kind of a windy day today. I don't know if you can see the lake out through that way, but we'll drive by that here in a few minutes. Yeah, again, they have metro parks, which I think you've probably seen me try to get in one on my on previous videos, and you need to get an annual pass. But there's some parks that you don't need a pass for, so I'll figure that out. But wait, if you're a hunter, this would be great back here, wouldn't it? Yeah, so this is the lake out back here. I'll just run up there and check it out. You can tell it's getting a little fallish, a little colder, because not a lot of cars out here. Some folks will come out here and fish. Pretty cool out there, isn't it? Play volleyball and all that stuff. So this is, again, Pinckney Recreational area. Again, it's a little windy. I think you can get, I'm not sure if they let powered boats out there or motored boats out there or not. I know there's normally a bunch of sailboats out there. And it's a little windy today, which my non-sailboat experience would say, well, isn't that a good day to go sailing? But I didn't see any boats out there. But if you sail or have a sailboat, at what point do you go out or not go out? I know you have motors as backups and stuff like that, but looks like there's some little trail systems back here. I'm not sure there's much walking past, and I think I'm going to be doing that by myself, because after the snake episode, we don't do that now. I guess if I had a bazooka and one of those fire things that blows fire out to kill the snakes, and I'm going to have to tell you the snake story too. I got stories, folks. I got stories. The snake story. All right, here we go. Just check this out. This guy's dumping his boat in. Or I should say he's pulling it out. Isn't that cool, folks? So, yeah, I like it back here. Isn't that cool? So I guess that's why it's not a park. Because there's really not that much area, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I should have done a video on how to get your boat off the water. And I could have followed this group of folks right there. If I bought a boat, I'd use it 2 or 3 times, and then not use it again, regret it every day. So, I wonder if they ride back like that. That's probably against the law, isn't it? I know they don't. So, I told you a little bit earlier about hiking in this area, as well as Mrs. Bodine and the snakes. That was snake episode number 2. Let me tell you about number 1. Years and years ago, we lived in the Maryland area, outside of, about 30 miles outside of Baltimore. And that's where I spent, 15, 18 years of my career there. And that really was considered a home to us. Mrs. Bodine is from Maryland. I'm obviously from Michigan. But, and again, our kids were born there and kind of considered that home for many, many, many years. And one of the things that we did when we first got married, we bought a townhouse. And, ended up being crowded area. Townhomes are great, but you better like people because there's people close to you. So after, maybe 2 or 3 years in that townhouse, I decided to buy a cabin with 7 acres in a place, I believe it was Romney, West Virginia. Now, back at that time, I was not an avid hunter like I am now. And this cabin in this little area had a private beach, no power boats on the lake. Our kids grew up there. We used to take the dog up there. We got many, many pictures of just the fun times that we had with our kids growing up there. But we had a cabin. And this cabin was like a one-room cabin, had a fireplace in it. If I can find a picture, I'll show it to you, but I'm not sure I'll be able to come up with that. So, but we had this cabin. It did not have a bathroom in it, or, quite frankly, running water. But it had a well, and it had one of those well pumps. Not a well pump, but where you crank it and the water comes out. I'm having a mind fart right now on that, but of course that thing's probably worth thousands of dollars now. It's some antique somewhere. But so there was a time where Mrs. Bodine went out to pump some water in a bucket or something. I don't know what she was doing, and she ended up hitting her chin on it. And she came back in, she's bleeding, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel really bad. She went out and did that. So I said, well, hey, I'll get the cabin, I'll get water brought into the cabin. So I hire a contractor, he pumps the water in the cabin, she's a happy camper. Well, you still have the bathroom situation. So, instead of putting in a bathroom, and those old camping toilets and stuff aren't the cleanliest or nicest thing to deal with, I decided to buy or rent a porta-john, right? There's like a porta-john place in town because it's out in the woods, so they sell them all over the place or rent them. I stopped by, the guy says, $20 a month. I'm like, what? He's like, $20 a month. I'm like, drop one off, man. Put it behind my cabin and keep it there from March to October, November, whenever it was. I said, here's a couple $100. We're good for a year, right? So we bring it in. We go up there a couple weekends. It was sweet, right? I'm like, this is nice. It's not as she has running water in the cabin. Now, porta-johns aren't the nicest thing in the world, but they came out and cleaned it every month. It didn't smell. It was nice, how us guys are. It's easy for us, but, sometimes the ladies expect and need, maybe a little cleaner environment than we're used to. And Mrs. Bodine's just really great. She's like, oh, this is awesome. I love this. The kids were happy. Water was coming in the cabin until Mrs. Bodine goes outside one night. It's like 6:30, and I hear another scream, just like the scream back there, as a matter of fact, of the snake. And Mrs. Bodine comes running back in. She's like, we're selling this place. We're selling this place. Now, if you know Mrs. Bodine, she hardly ever gets mad or freaks out. She lost her crap. I gotta tell you, she lost it. She was, man, it was bad. Needless to say, because of that one snake, I sold the cabin. Now, I believe back, and that was like 25 years ago, if I remember, I paid like $30,000 for that cabin. Right? $30,000 is a lot of money, but in the spirit of buying a place, it's not that much money. And I ended up selling it. Now, we had it maybe 2 or 3 years, if I recall, for $30,000. So while I didn't lose any money and we had some great memories there, think about if I still had that place. Not necessarily for the money, but I could have went up there and hunted. I could have went up there and spent some time. It would have been a place to go because we owned it, right? So, I don't know. Well, that, folks, is the Pinckney Recreational area and the Mrs. Bodine 52 snake story. So, if we happen to meet up, I'll go for a ride together, and Mrs. Bodine is around. We can't talk about snakes. If they come up on TV, Mrs. Bodine turns her head and says, is it off yet? Is it off yet? Is it off yet? Do you have anything that freaks you out? I don't necessarily like snakes, but I'm not that freaked out about them. I'm sure I got something, but I'm not willing to admit it yet. Well, that is it for me, folks. Thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the quick video, and let me know if what you feel about snakes, why that place is called a recreational area instead of a park, and anything else that is on your mind. As usual, I appreciate you looking in on the channel. Be safe on and off the motorcycle, and we will make sure to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.